Clock, I'll call this common council meeting to order. Would you please rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The clerk call roll, please.
Chapman?
Here.
Evans?
Here.
Booty? Here. Justman?
Here.
Lee?
Here.
Rungy?
Here. Okay, first item of business is the agenda approval. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Foodie, second by Rummy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approved minutes of previous meetings. Is there a motion to that effect? Motion by Justman. Second by Chapman. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approved minutes of intervening meetings. Is there a motion to that effect?
Second.
Motion by Foodie, second by Rungy. Any further discussion on those? Questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment regarding agenda items. Is there anyone here wishing to speak? Let the record show there are none. Next, we have communication. Meet the City of Juneau's engineers of MSA, Jason Lau and Joe DeYoung.
Thank you, everyone. We got a handout coming around, but so we've been looking to have this meeting scheduled with you for a while now, several months, but you guys have had some pretty busy agendas, as you all know. So this one looked like a good one to sneak this in, but the main purpose of this discussion, and this is what it is just basically an informal discussion. If you guys have questions as we go along, feel free to stop us. But with all the projects that MSA is involved with in the city, and then also with some of the new council members, we thought this would be a good idea to come and introduce ourselves, talk a little bit about the projects that MSA is currently working on with the city, talk a little bit about our past history with the city, and then also talk a little bit about the future moving ahead with the city. So I'll go off of this. Again, for those newer council members, if you haven't seen me here before at other meetings, my name is Jason Lau. I'm with MSA for about over 20 years now, working out of our Beaver Dam office. I've been formally working with the city as your engineer for about 5 years since my dad, Mike Lau, retired. Some of the older council members and the mayor will remember him, but basically been more involved with the city ever since then when he retired fully. And then also, as indicated, with me here tonight is Joe DeYoung, my colleague. He's been with MSA for over 25 years, and he's our regional manager. So he'll talk about himself a little bit more later and bore you to death, as you guys mentioned before. So as I mentioned, I'd like to talk a little bit about our present projects that are going on. So first off, on sheet 3 of the agenda, it is double-sided. There is a little number tab in the lower left-hand corner that I'll refer to when I give the numbers. But as far as number 3 goes, this project is currently ongoing. You guys have probably seen the barricades up if you've tried driving down East Oak Grove Street or on Western Avenue. This is our 2025 mill and overlay project that we've been working with the DPW department on. So far, there's been some storm sewer replacement and repair work on the project, which is one of the pictures, or the picture there that's on the sheet. That work has been completed. The concrete contractor is getting ready to do some patchwork on some of the curb and gutter that was disturbed with that storm sewer work. That should be happening here within the next week. And then following that work, in about 2 weeks, the asphalt contractor should be mobilizing into town, and we'll be repaving those streets full length. So Western Avenue is basically from Highway W to Highway 26, if you're unfamiliar, and then East Oak Grove, we're taking all the way from the intersection with Quick Trip at Main Street and going all the way out to the eastern city limits by County Highway M. So, but again, this project should be wrapping up in about a month or so, give or take. So, next project, which is on sheet 4, this kind of ties a little bit in with that mill and overlay work, because the same contractor that has that work for the asphalt, which is Northeast Asphalt, they're also going to be wrapping up our East Oak Street project from 2024. This is the stretch of East Oak Street from Depot to Fair Street in front of the post office. That was a full-blown street reconstruction project, utilities and street infrastructure, but most of that work was done last year. The last work item that we're wrapping up this year, as indicated, is the surface course of asphalt. So one neat tidbit about that project was back in 2024, with working with the city of Juneau, whatever, we were able to secure a grant for a little under $1 million for that project to help pay for a good chunk of that. So that project, like I said, is wrapping up, and hopefully will be finished up after the asphalt pavement and some other punch list items. So. Next on sheet 5 is a bunch of upgrades that happened to the wastewater treatment plant facility. This project was where MSA worked kind of closely with Juneau Utilities on a bunch of updates that the wastewater treatment plant needed to deal with some of their capacity, age, and performance issues. I'm not going to go through all the bulleted items there, but there's a whole list of them there that you can see of some of the newer upgrades and whatnot that were done to the treatment plant. That project is going to be probably wrapping up in another month or so too. They've got some punch list items with that one, as well as a little bit of change order work that the Juneau Utilities requested. So, but again, it's all anticipated to be wrapped up by early September. Next sheet, sheet number 6. Also with directly kind of with Juneau Utilities is MSA is working with them on doing some data migration with their GIS mapping software, basically taking some of our old record drawings and paper maps and getting them integrated into the GIS system and mapping, which is a lot more user-friendly, and it's a lot easier for the city staff, whatever, to keep track of records and help find things when they're all kind of stored in in a database like that, rather than having to pull out old paper files and records that somebody else kept a long time ago. So definitely a worthwhile venture, and again, we're happy to work with the city and with Juneau Utilities on that. So, and should hopefully help make their life a lot easier. So, last but certainly not least is a project that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, starting on page 7, and this is the current project that we're working on this year along East Oak Road Street in the downtown, from Main to Fair Street. This project's definitely been a good one and a challenging one too. Whenever no community is usually immune to it. When you work in your downtown, that's usually some of the oldest infrastructure in town, and they used to do a lot of weird things back there. So you usually find some interesting surprises when you work and replace the city's downtown. And as I'm sure a lot of you know, Juneau was no exception. We found a few surprises out there that we weren't expecting, but working with the city staff and with the contractor, we were able to work through those challenges. And again, just for the newer council members that may not be aware, just some interesting pictures here. In the far lower right corner, one of the things that was discovered was an underground room that projected out into the city, under the city sidewalk, into the city right away, right in front of the tattoo parlor. So that ended up, after it got discovered, that had to be abandoned and filled for liability and other reasons. Am I good here? Yep. Okay. The next picture to the left of that would be the third one from the left. That was an old cistern that was found along Miller Street, kind of near the county building and across the street from Rolling Stone. So that just had to be, once it was discovered, that just had to be abandoned in place. And then the other one was an abandoned old fuel tank that was near Rolling Stone and Fletcher's. That's the picture of it on the kind of the bottom middle. That one had an interesting story in that, and again, kind of speaks to some of the benefit that working with a firm like MSA is with us being a full service firm. We have a lot of specialties at our disposal, and during construction, when this was identified, the contractor basically found it and just stopped working, and so they notified us about it, and then we had to contact our environmental specialist to kind of figure out, hey, what are we up against here? After doing some research and doing some exploratory digging with the help of the DPW department, it was found that the fuel tank was empty and there wasn't any secondary contamination to the soil around it. So after we did the proper reporting, the DPW department was able to remove that tank without any trouble, and the contractor was able to get back to work relatively quickly after it was discovered. So So I guess kudos to the DPW department and all the members involved, because had it not gone the way that it did, I mean, it could have been a very costly extra for the city. If there was contamination, or if that tank did have some fuel in it or whatever, it would have been a different story. So, but because the DPW department was able to get it out of the ground right away, the contractor didn't need to get paid anything extra for downtime and whatever else, so. All right, so, and then I guess the other story with this one, again, as most of you know, and I guess there's some illustrations on page 8 of this, but is the Gathering Plaza. This one was an interesting one too with this project, in that it started off at as a very basic design. It was just supposed to be some simple concrete with a retaining wall and a raised lawn area, because there was some uncertainty whether the county would agree to it and if the city wanted to go along with it. But again, with MSA working collaboratively with the city on this one, as the county got on board with it, as members of the city got on board with it, the project really evolved, and MSA was able to help the city get a grant for $50,000 through the Vibrant Spaces that was able to go and help pay for part of the Gathering Plaza. And because of that, and again, the collaboration with the city was able to add on additional features like seat walls. We switched the regular concrete to the colored and stamped concrete as shown in the picture. The raised platform went from just a lawn area to a paved surface too, as like a stage. So it really enhanced the space, and I think I think it'll serve the city well, for years to come, and hopefully you guys get some good use out of that. So, moving on to the next page, page 9. So again, that's kind of our current, kind of the current rundown on the projects. This graphic is just kind of to illustrate how MSA is structured personnel-wise, and this again kind of goes hand in hand with what I was describing with the downtown project, in that my picture and my contact information is listed there. I got Joe's listed there too, since he's here with us tonight. But basically I'm your main point of contact for questions, for projects, and then depending upon what those questions entail or what the infrastructure needs might be, I have a whole slew of specialists within the company that I can call upon, and I just have some of them mentioned. I mean, we're one of the largest companies in the Midwest, so we have a lot of employees, but these are just a handful of the specialties and specialists that we have at our disposal. If you guys have questions or if you have needs that you just don't run into on a day-to-day basis. So not that you always need an electrical engineer at your disposal or an environmental specialist, but when you do, it's just a phone call away. So that's just kind of what this graphic is illustrating.
So I'm kind of curious, and again, I've met with some of you. I've gotten, been around a couple bit that I've talked quite a bit from Randolph, so I'm not too far down the road, not as close as Jason, who lived by the school, but close enough to know enough about Juneau and stuff, since we had to come here and play ball quite a bit with my kids. But Dan, you've been on the board forever, right? 20-some years. And who else is long term that's been on the board? Who's
Jane and I are second longest. We've been there 6 years, I guess.
6?
And I've worked for the city over 20.
For the
City of Juneau.
Juneau. I saw Fox Lake in her shirt, so I didn't.
Yeah,
She's there now.
Fox Lake now.
You left.
I did.
There's a story there. Anyway, and so everybody else is under 6 years, and a couple, like Jason alluded to, we were trying to do this earlier, and then you had transition, you had things going on, and one thing I'll guarantee you is that changes occur all the time. I mean, to have a tenure like that for a mayor is, I know it's different.
Well, I haven't
positions.
been that
I
long
know.
for mayor.
But you've been on the board and been around.
I've been on
for
the
many
utility
years.
commission for 26 years prior to being mayor.
So change is always something that occurs, and that's one of the things that, some of the consistency, some of the things that we see, and that's why being here tonight, it's kind of to offer the opportunity to have you guys ask questions. What's on your mind? What do civil engineers do? And we're not just the civil engineers, there's so much more that we provide that it's kind of like, okay, is there something that you weren't aware of or things that you wanted to know about? That's just a way to introduce ourselves and provide it. There's just been things that have bothered people in the past. There's things that I've heard about that I didn't come here directly to say that we're here to address and do whatever we can. But the one thing I'll pressure any of my communities, because I work for a fair amount too, is that the one thing that's consistent is that Juneau's going to be here a lot longer than any of us. And I say that in a way that The community is what matters. You're here to make a difference, we're here to make a difference, we're all trying to help out, but it's one of the neat things about providing a service to the community that we know that Juneau will last. And we're just trying to make it a better place for your constituents, for the quality of life, things like that, that it matters, and that's where it comes into. Jason kind of said it, but we are the largest firm in Wisconsin, and we have been built around small to mid-sized communities. When you think of Baraboo, Wisconsin, where we started, I'm from Randolph, I'll be honest with you, it's just sometimes small towns are different. And I don't know how else to put it besides you just try and do the right thing, you try and get everything done. But what separates us a little bit, and I know you're looking at the slides, you might be looking ahead, but like an overview in sheet 10, and like Jason just said, we provide it all, but we hope that you don't need everything. So a lot of the next couple slides basically goes through some of the service we provide, and then guarantee there's things in there, like I used to work on airports. Not an issue you shouldn't have to worry about, but ones that you do, environmental documents that come up, we mentioned them before, like what was down with the tanks, okay, we got that. It comes down to DOT, when a highway's coming through, Highway 26. Hey, we can't necessarily work on it, but we sure have a lot of people that have the experience, that it is an inside source that provides us, that helps us out with a lot of others. And that's kind of what separates us a little bit, is because our size and our ability to be diverse. And one of the things that you have benefited from is funding. And I know you went to one of it, we talked that, getting back and trying to get responses back, but the vibrant space of 50,000, but on sheet 11, it shows what your success has been here since 2020. The one in particular that I am going to point out, because some of you probably haven't heard the story, and some of you have, but in 2020 and 21, when you look at the Highland Oak Street project, that is something that was directly impacted by MSA. Now, it's kind of weird because there's closed funds, and there was a program that was stopping with the CDBG, and we study this and spend so much time on it that we're by far the best in the state when it comes to funding. I know last year's success, we had 60% of the funds went to MSA clients. You guys have gotten it a couple of times, but this closed funds was separate. There's a housing program that they wanted to stop, and so they just had to get rid of the funds. Well, Dodge County had $1.5 million. And they asked us to find ways to fund it. Fond du Lac County asked us, we showed what it is, Campbellsport, Oakfield, they got some big money for that. And so we came here to talk to Dodge County because they told us, hey, we heard you can help us out. And we found them a project that was perfect. They were replacing 2 of their elevators within their county buildings that could get replaced. ADA accessibility meets the low and moderate income requirements. All they had to do was sign a couple of agreements that you guys have signed several times, and Dodge County Sheriff wouldn't do it. Right at the end, 2-3 months before they had to decide to give the money back or to keep it. And they decided not to sign the one agreement, which had some language and stuff that doesn't seem to be too uncommon, that most all our communities have signed it, but they didn't. And so all we said is, please, before you give the money back, give us a chance, because I'd rather see the money be spent in Dodge County rather than see it just go back to the state. And that's where you guys got involved. So we knew you had a project, it was Oak Street. I think you did the surveys yourself that had it eligible. You were gonna do the work regardless, from what I understand, and then here we came in and said, here, we basically thought of you first, and you ended up with $700,000. Okay, Horicon got 400, but they had CB closed themselves. They had their own $200,000 as a separate, not through Dodge County. And the other one was Beaver Dam, who's also very familiar with this program. And so again, we basically found a way to split it up. And because of the trust and relationship we had, that you knew the program and knew what we were talking about, you were able to capitalize on that and take the money and be able to get it from the county rather than go back to the state. Those are the things with just familiarity and stuff that gives us an advantage, and that hopefully with long-term relationships, we have the ability to look out for you as well. And that's just one story that came out of it. You flip to the next page and you can see there's communities around you that are also benefiting. There are communities. But the funding that we have and how you look at it, Campbellsport, Horicon are new communities. Ripon started when they lost their engineering department, which we're seeing a lot lately. Oakfield's got a lot of long stories and a very interesting one. They're in a different boat than you are, and there's definitely some fun with it, but their median household income is higher than anybody else around here, and I can't explain why. And so their ability for eligibility is amazing, but when I talk about here, you guys are actually second, you're around 70,000, but like Horicon's at 46, Waupun 50-some, North Fond du Lac, yet they're over $91,000, $92,000 per household income. Couldn't explain it if I want to. They're competing with the communities over by, I forget, it was Johnson Creek was close to them, but Williams Bay, if you think along Lake Geneva area and stuff, some of those communities are right there, right alongside Oakfield. Yeah, I couldn't explain it. And so when we try to get them funding, it was really hard, where you guys have had a lot more success. We don't control everything, but those are the things that we study so much, it just gives us somewhat of an advantage. So I share that with you because there's days we get phone calls and emails and they ask us, I got one again today, and then they had to revolve around fire hydrants and, fire departments and equipment and stuff, that those grants are coming due. And we're seeing a couple of those become attractive, but it's not ones that we actually apply for. We just sometimes give the information to your fire department and work with them because a lot of stuff goes through things like that. The rest of the sheets as you go through is kind of different things, and again, this is kind of for your polling and stuff, but it's not necessarily where some of them are you're familiar with. So when you start thinking about municipal services, which is shown, I think it's on page 13. Yeah, 13 and 14 survey. We've done this a lot in your community, so those aren't unexpected, but we wanted to just give you a snapshot because some things might be something you haven't thought about. Architectural services, another thing that we've done pretty commonly throughout, especially our MEP group is probably one of the top ones in the state. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, familiar. Planning and urban design, not necessarily the most important thing for most communities, but especially when it comes into a little bit later, you're going to see parks and open spaces and some of the funding that goes along with that. Things are changing right now, and you guys are fully aware of the bill that was just signed by our President Trump. And so some of the funding that was available has definitely been cut, even on the state level. And because things change so much, it's kind of like what could be working today or what worked for past communities, the flexibility that you have to provide sometimes is just all subject to that. Environmental is one of the things you hope you don't use, but like you said with your tank, glad you have it when you need it. But phase 1, phase 2 environmental assessments are very common, and so that those services that we have, and I'll give you another example, is land acquisition. You don't necessarily want it, but if you have state funds and you go through the process, we're one of the only firms that has their own acquisition team to be able to complete it. And when this build funds came out, I don't know if you ever followed the BIL, the big bill, whatever this first election that came out, it's like having someone that's available to get your projects done became very critical. And so it's just nice to have those resources available to us, transportation, agriculture. I'll be honest with you, hopefully you don't have a farm issue in town, but outside of town, it's become a service that's needed with the CAFOs and stuff. But like I said, you're not far from some big dairies and stuff, so it's probably something that's occurred, but those are services we currently provide. So our goal tonight isn't to create or do anything except create an opportunity for you to ask whatever questions you have. At the end, I did have some things that I think are important that I at least wanted to bring up. I wanted to make sure that we did openly communicate because I have met with your staff. I have met with several of you because of some of the concerns and issues that we have, because we aren't perfect. But things that I hear that I want to address, because one of the things I can do is talk about what we've done in other communities and give you examples.
There's one thing that I don't understand, I don't mean to.
No, cut this is the idea.
I don't know if this is something, do you want to talk about this after the fact, or do you want this, do you want to meet with certain people afterwards, or I think that might be something better.
Well, that's always available.
I feel like that would be a better opportunity than doing it on camera, but I'll leave that to the mayor.
Well, I guess I'm not sure, but I'll comment to that. Anytime you guys want to meet or talk, but it's one of the things I want to make very clear, is that call us, talk to us. Anything that I say, or to be honest with Jason, it's not meant to be a secret. So if I have a conversation with you, Dan, it's like we're here for the community, and those are things that shouldn't be avoided. So by all means, I don't have any problem with anyone that wants to make a phone call, and both Jason and I will get the numbers available to you so that you have the opportunity to do that at any time you want. That's the easy one.
I think it's always easy to play armchair quarterback after a project is done and criticize and, hey, we could have, should have, what have you, but I think this would be a productive conversation you should have with the utility commission as well.
Mm-hmm.
I realize you two didn't have hands-on that project, but quite frankly, I think the two council members that serve on the utility commission have witnessed and felt like there's a lot of things that were missed in design that cost the city a lot of money in the end and what have you. I know MSA tried to throw a few bones our way and what have you to compensate for certain things, but It seemed like there was, and was a massive undertaking. And we have the utility president right behind you, so Mac, you feel free to chime in. You can certainly speak to that effect. But I think there was a lot of things basic things that were overlooked and what have you, that it cost some substantial dollars out there. And whenever I asked the two engineers that you had on handling that project, well, that inspector is no longer with us, and I countered, that's not the city's fault, why that was missed. Things were installed incorrectly, railings were put in the way of being able to easily remove equipment at a later date, and just some real foo-bahs, that just seemed to come to light. So I agree with Megan, we don't want to beat a dead horse here tonight, but I would certainly encourage you too to meet with the utility commission, because there's probably a few beefs on that end that should probably be aired.
I am fully aware of the utility commission. Obviously, Jason and I are partially involved from more of the infrastructure standpoint. The treatment plant is another team and stuff, and those concerns have been brought to our attention. There's no doubt. I'm not sitting here denying that. We've met with your staff out there as well. I've been part of those conversations.
Good.
But to meet with the board members that represent, I have no issue. Again, I'm looking, because I saw you point like this, so I'm not sure exactly.
You got it. Point in the right direction.
Well, and
Reach
I
in.
We
Reach
get
in.
there.
I think it was good for you to come and just introduce yourself, but I think if people have specific questions, it's probably best to contact you directly.
Yeah, absolutely, and to be able to explain it, because some of the things you're alluding to, I know, and some of the stories, there was a transition of people as well. I mean, we've been dealing with that, even when I talked about with Mike Lau and to Jason Lau, and some of the things that I think everyone was used to from a Mike standpoint, and to be fair, it's, Mike's been around for a long time and actually started as a city of Juneau employee. And so when he retired, he retired. And if he's here, I can joke on it, but he left and he's gone up north and he's enjoying the lake life, and he deserves it. So I always make fun that he left his son in a little bit of a pickle, but we made it, we're in there. So I just want to allude to it, but that's definitely one of the things when it comes to the treatment plant. There's definitely things that are going on. There's definitely things that I would say, we talk about contractor and engineering. The opportunity to talk about and discuss it is absolutely something we would take on and would not shy from. The things I wanted to allude to today, I don't know if they necessarily deal with that. I wanted to talk about some of the changes we are making. And so one of them that I kind of alluded to is that, I said change is always going to occur. We talked about, like Mike Lau retired as part of it. I said 20 some years of doing this, at some point, like I said, down to 6, there's transition all the time. So when we do it, we're trying to learn. One of the things we learned is that the confusion of our bills sometimes was too much. Not being clear. That's one of the first conversations we had when we met with Megan, and part of it was that she was new to it, just trying to hear out the history of it, that it made a focused effort that we had to do after meeting with her to make sure that we took the time in order to make it work. Just go over that, make sure, find the past contracts. But now one of the things we've done, we switched to all-time material. It's not, we don't need the confusion. It's definitely options that are available, and communities do everything differently out there. It doesn't mean one's right or wrong, but what works for you is something that we as a firm, we have to evolve to. I got to be upfront with you on this, guys, is that it's very important for us to adapt to what works best for Juneau, not 10 years ago, not 15 years ago, but what do you need today? And so when you think about it and you're looking for a certain type of thing, and here's one that we just heard from with the confusion, that's fine, time and material. If things go great, that's fine. If we have problems with contractors, that goes fine. Because one of the things I've heard from the different discussions is that contractors, there's very specific things that we can do. And we love to tell them every time that they're wrong, and we have some current issues out there with concrete and things like that that have to be fixed. But means and methods is something we can't control. And I'll tell you a little story in Sun Prairie, but I had one of my wonderful engineers that was out there helping the contractor, trying to figure out what elevation to put the stormwater lateral to fit underneath, or sewer lateral underneath the storm sewer, and he calculated out and missed it by 4 inches. He's just trying to help them out, trying to get it done, being a good guy, and all of a sudden the liability of what he shared became, whose is it, MSA's or is it the contractor? Even though they're responsible for their own, we just want to help out. But the means and methods and how they place it and how they do it. You got a beautiful site. I mean, that downtown, and looking at it from an outsider that had nothing to do with it, it looks great, guys. And I know it was a process to get to where it was, But the fact is, there might be some concrete that has to be replaced because the contractor put it in too dry. So we might have to fix it, we might have to work with them, there might be some negotiations, but at the end, if we sat there and said, hey, we think your concrete's dry, guess where the obligation comes back to? And those are things that we get very commonly in how to deal with contractors. So warranty and the one-year warranty things are very common, and we have to deal with it, but how aggressive, what you want to do in order to protect yourself is all part of the process.
One thing that's different too is that we're using you as a middleman.
Yes.
So, I mean, so you're getting their end, you're getting our end. So with this specific project, that's why I feel like we should meet on another time, because I'm not gonna talk about that right now. The whole process was very frustrating, and even seeing what color concrete to pick, what brick to pick. And here we're last minute picking all of this, you know, like it's a whole nother conversation, I think. So there's specifics, that I would personally like to address another time.
I hope you're open to that.
We've met and we'll continue to. And so, no, we're not against any type of means to go over the different things and how it plays out, guys. That is not the issue. One thing I will encourage is that I want an open mind as much as possible, because when you get into it, and to be honest, right now, I'm going to use you for example, but we do take a lot of direction from you, and that's where we know it comes from. And for years of doing it and where it is, that there's definitely communities that do things a lot different. And so I'm being upfront with you on where it is, but when you have stuff like that, where to be honest, and I'm going to put words in adjacent, but start where the project was and then it evolves. It was kind of like going on design, that there's definitely things that could be done more efficiently every time. When you said it best, I think you can always look back. But that's what we want to do, is actually look back and see where to improve. And so I don't think that is all as a question or an insult, because we've been part of so many different jobs, but we want to get things right to where Juneau wants to see it. And if it's something where we have to say at some point, slow down and stop in order to get caught up, if we could be upfront with those things, that might have been the answer. If it's no, this is too important, there's funding issues to that, I make up stories now, but there's always stories to it. The key is, no matter how I look at it, if you guys are not informed, unaware of it, so that you can make those decisions, then that's definitely what we let you down. And I only use that as an example, but we want the decisions made here. We want your staff to be aware of it. And when something like that, let's just use a synopsis that maybe timely stuff would have been better, which I'm kind of reading into it. Heck yeah, then let's talk about that so we have the ability to improve on it.
Well, I certainly appreciate you coming, but I just think we should start moving on with our agenda.
And that's the cue.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never met you before, so it's good to meet you.
Well, I appreciate the time, like I said, yeah, and I will be quiet after that and let you guys move on.
Joe and I have had conversations, very candid ones. He takes it, there's no ways about it. And I guess in closing, yes, Mike Lau, Jason, your dad, he was a gentleman and a scholar. He was Juneau's #1 citizen, you know, when it come down. We understand he did a lot of pro bono work for the city while working for MSA, because he was proud of the community, and he always had the city of Juneau at his best of his heart, you know. And so that's hard to duplicate. There's no two ways about that. But times have changed. I realize from being involved in this for 45 years, it's not like it was 45 years ago. There's no two ways about it. I understand where, you know, you had the luxury of having 25 firms bidding jobs. Now we get 3 maybe, but, you know, coming in. So the whole ball game has changed, and I agree with the staff here. We should discuss this at a committee level, I think, and I think we can do that civilly and
No,
get to where we
no
want to
issue
be.
with that. We'll let you move on with your agenda, and again, appreciate the kind words there and stuff, guys, but, and also the time. If there's any other questions, though, don't hesitate to call Jason and I, okay?
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. You approve payments of bills. checks for $806,253.19. Electronic transfers of $224,000, $631.25. Is there a motion to approve the payment of bills? Motion by Randy. Second by Justin. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Rungy.
Aye.
Justman.
Aye.
Chapman.
Aye.
Evans.
Aye.
Foodie.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Payment of bills have been approved. Moving on, reports of officials, Mayor, Resolution 31, 2025, approve mayoral appointments. Whereas the mayor has diligently searched for individuals willing to give of themselves by serving on the Plan Commission and the Fire and Police Citizen Committee, and whereas the mayor wishes to make the following appointment. Plan Commission, Ken Steffen, term will go to August of 2028. Fire and Police Citizen Committee, Jerry Stolzman, August of 2028. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council, City of Juneau, accepts the aforementioned recommendation passed by the Common Council, City of Juneau, this 12th day of August 2025. I'll entertain a motion for acceptance of Resolution 31, 2025. Motion by Foodie, second by Evans. Any further discussion? Both of these are re-ups. The Fire and Citizen Committee, or Fire and Police Citizens Committee is a very inactive committee. It's more or less for discipline. If we have an issue with mainly the officers or the department heads in that committee, but this one will be taken up at that one. And Ken Steffen's been a long time member on Plan Commission. I was really surprised that he had recently lost his wife, and I think this is something that he says he doesn't have any trouble keeping busy, but he certainly has an interest in it. So, no further discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Foodie.
Aye.
Evans.
Aye.
Chapman.
Aye.
Justman.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Rungy.
Aye.
Resolution 31, 2025 is passed. Clerk Treasurer, anything to report?
A couple things, the City of Juneau received a check from Evangelism Elder Mount Zion Church in the amount of $753 for tornado relief. We received that just this week, putting it in our donations. Looks like currently, we're gonna be spending it on trees. Our park took a big hit, and our insurance covered 6 trees, which we lost 2 at the library, and then I think 36 in the park, so only 4 of those will be covered under insurance, which it's only $500 per tree, so you know, I'm not really quite sure what we can buy for that, but I wanted to give you guys an update. If you haven't noticed already, there's a new roof at City Hall, Historical Building, concession stand, and the stores booth. New fashion soffit on the Well Goose Park building. The tornado siren is on order. Should be here within 6 to 8 weeks. Soccer goals, nets, and bleachers should be coming soon. The stop signs, a decorative street pole by the administrative building for the county was being replaced, and some miscellaneous items. We're all covered by insurance. So, starting the budget process, of course, and the auditors are coming next month with their presentation.
Any questions for our clerk? And what was the formula? So many feet from the building? Of what the trees were?
It had to be
were covered?
100 feet from an insured building.
Okay.
So, playground equipment, doesn't count.
So from here on, we gotta plant all the trees at 99 feet from the building.
Yeah.
Or buildings.
You learn a lot.
Okay, thank you, Megan.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Any questions on the written reports? Building permit, police department, Juneau Fire, Juneau EMS? Nope. Reports of committees, commissions, and boards. Library director, Jim, are you doing that today?
Connie left me some stuff for the library that you want there, we didn't know about. There's calendars, I'll pass these around for the rest of the year. They're for August and September, stuff going on. I don't know what the time here, I thought I could stat, but okay. And The summer reading program, we had 198 participants. 71% completed the 8-week reading challenge, which is pretty good when you think about it. The people are on vacation, they go, and some of the kids. They had 28 special programs, and with that, they had 462 attendees. And anybody who's been by the library during the day, especially during the week, it's busy in there in summer. I was surprised. I had made a comment when I was down there last week, picking up some books, and it was a lot of people in there. It was actually very nice. And the June and July visitor count was 682 people for the month of June and July, so that's actually pretty awesome. The window project, the installation was delayed in June due to some measurement errors. The replacements were ordered and installation was completed on August 8th. The contractor and workers were overall professional, and the project was very well done. At least if you walk around and take a look at the windows, it looks they did a really nice job. And hopefully we can get, I'm not sure what the warranty is on these windows, because the other ones were lifetime, which you turn out, life is really short. So the budget, we're on track for 2025, and Connie's going to be doing some of the start budgeting stuff for next year in 2026. We got several special programs coming up. The Family Fortnight Camp-In is August 12th. And since I was hospitalized during the last meeting, I really don't know what that entails, to be honest with you. She just gave this to me. Heart Health Informational Session with Dodge County Public Health will be at the library on August 19th. So if any, there's a few of us that are getting older that might qualify for some cardiac heart problems and stuff, so might be a good place to stop. Starry Night at the Marsh with the area libraries and Horicon Marsh Education Center on September 5th. And on September 6th, the Ocho de Dios Community and Cultural Arts Session with Unmasked Expressive Therapies. And that is going to be at the library. I'm not exactly sure what that is either, because this obviously was talked about when I wasn't there. So, and that's about it. And if you look at the calendar, there's a lot going on at the library, and most of it's free. So it'd be good, good to get down there and enjoy our library.
And air conditioning works there well.
And I would think that's one of the reasons why things might have gone up in June and July, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Well, Connie always runs pretty good programs down there.
Yes.
She hit the ground running, filling in for that slot.
Yeah.
There. We didn't even see a lag of performance down there. So, but she had done it before. So
right.
That was certain. So I don't know if Jim can answer any of your questions if you have any. If not, we'll move on to Plan Commission. Troy?
There was no meeting this last month, so.
Finance, Richard.
We did not meet.
And Personnel, Richard.
We did meet. We had a meeting, we went into closed session and discussed the progress of the police contract that is ongoing. Then we came out of closed session, etc. So that's it. The negotiations are continuing. I think we have a meeting tomorrow or something.
Okay. Public Safety, Jane.
Public Safety did meet, and Police Department, I'm sure your National Night Out on August 5th was a success, which was held 6 to 8. We talked about possibly amending the ordinance. There's information from the DOT and the current ordinance that was handed out, and the committee members are recommended to take those home and review those. Closing of East Oak Street on October 18th for a Halloween party from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. And we talked about the for the fire department pump on 2383, the mini pumper needed to be replaced. it's a cost of 25 to 3,000, that's in the fire department regular budget. As Megan hit on, the update on the tornado siren on South Main Street, the siren has been ordered and is being covered by our insurance. And old business, the speed signs, Jim Runge asked when they're going up, and they're going up on North Main Street, West Oak Grove Street, East Center Street, and East Oak Grove Street, so look for those to be coming. And our next meeting is Thursday, August 21st at 6:30.
Any questions for Jane?
Yeah, on number 5 here, what the e-bikes and the gas-powered bikes, what's that all about? What are they trying to take something away or add something, or what's going on here?
Well, basically, what was brought up at Plan Commission level, they were questioning about what regulation we have or what we have on the books for prohibiting them from riding the sidewalks in downtown and what have you. And we did find out that you don't have to have a valid driver's license if it's an electric motor.
Oh,
So a 14-year-old kid can go up to 28 miles an hour, or a 12-year-old kid can legally go up to, that's what's on our books right now. I mean, we had inquired, because we weren't aware, on Plan Commission, we weren't aware, but.
well, the evolution of e-bikes has come a long ways in the last couple of years.
Absolutely,
It isn't like,
absolutely.
it's been like that for 20 years.
What about the gas ones?
Well, that
Gas
makes
ones,
sense.
that's a combustion engine, you have to have a legal driver's
I
license.
seen
I
a
would think
little
so.
kid one day riding one that sounded like it had a weed whacker engine.
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
He
Just
comes by
hauling.
here too.
And I
Yeah.
think, well, Jane, you did, I don't know if you were provided the information, if you did some research, we pretty much got those
I've read-
we have those regulations in place.
I've read the whole.
That's what
ordinance.
I kind of figured the city would, most of
Right.
them do.
And obviously,
I've
kids
read the
aren't,
whole ordinance and
kids aren't aware.
what
you
the
know.
chief brought in from the DOT also.
Yeah.
We're pretty much, read that information, I think it's all there. There's really no changes to be.
I guess enforcement is probably the biggest thing.
So you're not trying to ban them, you're just trying to keep them at.
No, just trying to keep them at
safe
bay,
level
at
off
safe
the
level, keep them
sidewalks.
in either driving in the parking lanes on the streets when you're
Yeah.
downtown or what have you, and if nobody's trying to, but there has been some close calls, I know when they're whistling down East Oak Street with the.
There's different levels to
Yeah.
e-bikes, they got a class 1, class 2, and a class 3. You could limit somebody without a driver's license to a class 2, that'll keep them going 28 miles an hour, because I believe they can't go over 20 miles an hour. And it has to be pedal assist. So if you see them with their feet on the handlebars and a hand on the throttle, going down the road.
Good to know, good to know. But that was pretty much the gist of that, was just had come for Plan Commission, they were kind of curious on what we had in place, for regulating that, so.
I would just say, we should be thoughtful and careful on any regulations that we put. We got the trail that goes through town, that's an asset, and we should encourage the bike traffic rather than discourage it.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Anything else? Moving on. Public Works.
We did not have a meeting.
Okay, cable TV, Jay.
We did meet, and we decided to end public for the cable TV channel. And the end date was set as the end of December 2025. We will announce it on the utility bills, community media channel, and the city's website, and current users will also be notified, so we'll be working on that. David reported that the OWL did not work at the utility commission meeting because there wasn't enough, the internet was not strong enough, so he's going to try to hook directly to the Ethernet cable. And we did purchase some new equipment, which we are trying out tonight. So we'll find out if that works, so we can just mount it in an effective area in our council chambers here and keep working with the OWL down at the utility office to make it easier to put the meetings on, hopefully, our website. It's just something we're working on right now. And our next cable TV, well, we didn't have one August 11th, so that's all I got.
Okay, we have a resolution.
I do. Resolution 32, 2025, approved dissolving the Cable TV Committee and Channel, whereas the Cable TV Committee has reviewed ongoing challenges with the Cable TV channel, and whereas the Cable TV Committee agrees that the ongoing broadcasting equipment and funding challenges, it is best to dissolve the Cable TV Committee channel at the end of December 2025. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts this aforementioned recommendation passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 12th day of August, 2025. I move for passage of Resolution 32, 2025.
Motion by Foodie, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Justin. Any further discussion?
So when we dissolve this committee, who's gonna take care of, where's all this other
That's
stuff?
what we're trying to get in place now, to get the equipment to work, that whoever, one of the aldermen can take care of it, maybe from an iPad or whatever, just to record it, and somebody from the utility office can just get the file to put on the website. We're trying to get it in place now, but it's easy enough for staff to do that. That's the hope. I have complete confidence Steve will get us there.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Foodie?
Aye.
Justin?
Aye.
Chapman?
Aye.
Evans?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Rungy?
Aye.
Resolution 32, 2025 is passed. Community Development Authority.
Chapman, sorry, did you say no?
I said
Yes.
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Glad I asked.
CDA, no meeting. Recreation, we have a meeting.
Recreation met, and we reviewed a coaching, a parent, and a player policy. And we just added no coaching from the bleachers to the parent policy. I wasn't aware of some of the things that were going on, I guess. No coaching from the bleachers was added as number 2 in the policy. And our rec director, Harness, he put a survey on Facebook and realized, what programs are most wanted. The 3 most popular programs were youth baseball, softball, flag football, and youth basketball. And 37% of the people that did not participate in programs were simply because before they were not offered. He is hitting the ground running, and he has done a lot in the short time he's been here, getting programs running. We also had some vandalism in the park that has been cleaned up, and we are working on a Wild Goose Park shed with representatives from the Modern Woodsman. And our next rec meeting is August 20th, 2025 at 5:30. And I have another resolution. Resolution number 33, 2025, approves coach code of conduct, player code of conduct, and parent code of conduct for the recreation department. Whereas the Recreation Committee has reviewed the need for code of conduct policies for players, coaches, and parents, and whereas the Recreation Committee recommends adopting the policies as shown in Exhibit A, now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendation passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 12th day of August, 2025. I move for passage of Resolution 33, 2025.
I'll second.
Motion by Foodie, second by Rungy. Further discussion?
So if we don't sign it, we won't participate?
Pretty much. That's what the discussion was. Because when kids sign up for programs, they want the players and the parents to sign it, and coaches, when they're hired, it's part of what they should know up front and agree to.
There obviously has been problems in the
There's been
past.
problems.
There's always been problems.
Yeah.
Now,
It's a shame that, we have to have a formal document, but yeah, I guess common sense is not prevailing. Because the maturity level of parents is
If
lower
they
than what it's
violate
been.
that, do they get booted then?
Yes.
Right away, there's no
There's a
steps.
step.
Well, they're signing this agreement if they know up front what is not allowed.
There's 3 steps.
Oh, okay. But it's good, that they're making them aware of what is allowed and what isn't allowed. Like the mayor said, it's pretty much common sense of how to behave in public.
Okay.
We have to put it in writing.
Who's gonna be the judge and jury?
Probably the referees or whoever's officiating the games, I guess. I think basketball is probably the toughest, because that's fast going, yeah, you could have a foul every, or a questionable foul, every time up and down the court, Where I think in soccer, that's a little bit played out a little bit farther. Baseball, discussions of what's balls or strikes or close play at a plate or something like that. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Dick, you are right. It does say verbal warning, and then the suspension from the city of Juneau's property where games are being played, and then immediate removal of children from the youth sports program.
But is the rec committee gonna?
I think like the mayor
determine
says, you're gonna have the people officiating the games.
Yeah, I know, but they can give a, they can give a verbal warning, and I don't know that they can remove them from the sport program.
I've seen officials remove.
Well, they can remove them from
Yeah.
the game,
But
but
no,
not
I
from
think
the
they can
program
do it.
itself.
I think they can with this. I mean, they're signing an agreement.
Well, I would say that the rec committee would have to be the judge on this, and not the official. An official can bring a complaint to the rec committee, and then.
I would only hope this gets read.
Yeah,
So
right.
it kind of puts the parents on
Well,
notice.
next
that-
meeting is
Yeah.
August 20th.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Foodie,
Aye.
Markey,
Aye.
Chapman,
Aye.
Evans.
Aye.
Justman,
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Resolution 33, 2025 is passed. Okay, Utility Commission, Doug?
Hey,
Yep.
yeah, we had a lengthy meeting,
That's new.
yeah. There was a lot of stuff to go over, monthly business, the approval of payments, consumption loss, delinquent accounts, was all gone over. Utility account reported, new carpet installed, in the offices, and the water department is eligible for a simplified rate case for water rates. I'm not quite sure what that is. Do you know?
The PSC reviews the rates and costs.
They gave that breakdown. I'm trying to kind of escape it right now. I don't know what we're doing
I think
different.
it just means that if the commission decides to pursue different rates, we're eligible to.
Oh,
do a
okay,
study.
all right.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the not so lengthy of time to do. The only deregulated utility you have is the sewer utility. Otherwise, any change in rates for the electric and the water has to go through the PSC. And I think this is kind of a fast track for water, that is really what it boils down to.
It's a simple rate case.
Yeah. Get you there faster, you don't have the waiting time.
Okay, all right. That sounds good. Okay, electrical superintendent's report. They are working on, there was storm damage to the roof, and there's gonna be a partial fix of the roof by the insurance company. They would not pay for the whole thing. The other part of the roof has got damage to it. Apparently it's wear and tear damage, and we voted to approve to go ahead and do the whole roof right away. So the utilities will be paying $12,000 of that repair of the roof. They would like to get the offices painted, so it would look nicer with the new carpet, and they had a bid of $2,600 from Wild Painting, and we approved that. Projects update, Jason went over a lot of that stuff. Jason from MSA went over a lot of stuff. The overhead is down. We'll be pulling poles next week. 90% need to be 90% complete on the ETC job by 8/31. JR Underground had to complete their work. Went smooth until ATC's FAA permit was denied. Apparently they have a couple poles that are just a little too high. So now they have to pull them poles and put the wires underground to avoid, they must be close to the airport, I'm assuming. The ATC job will be 100% complete by 8/31. And there was a transformer that blew at Depot and Oak due to the extreme heat causing transformer fail. It went, it happened at 6:43 and they had that thing replaced and we're back online at 8:45 PM. It's a little 2 hours and 2 minutes. That's absolutely incredible and a very good job by our electrical department for that. There was a transformer replaced. They're taking down 2 poles, so they got poles and that they had to be removed because they were too close to the storm sewer. The water superintendent report, WP change order number 9 motion, and change order number 9 gave the city a total credit of $47,000. WWTP upgrade installed new main entry sign. There was a water softener problem, it was fixed. There's a problem with Woodstream with their wastewater flow. They're trying to work that out. If they're putting a meter in to keep track of how much wastewater. They have more water coming in than they have going out because they use the water for their product. So they said it's not fair to base their outgoing on their incoming. Aquatis jetted and televised about 10,000 feet of pipe, finding very little wrong, which is good. Special interview for engineering firms for DNR required projects will be August 20th at 6 PM. Is that why MSA was here tonight doing an audition already, or?
No, I don't
No?
think so. I think
All right.
it's-
I guess that's about it.
Any questions for Doug? It was a rather lengthy meeting.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot.
That change order took a lot of time, and those few of those items were what I alluded to tonight were kind of addressed at that meeting. But yeah, certainly they should come back and talk to the utility commission. If these are the 2 mouthpieces to their higher ups, I think that would make much more sense rather than coming to a meeting like this. Any questions? Seeing none. Moving on. Any old business tonight? Any new business? Approve provincial licenses for 45 days. There are none. Approve regular bartender's license for 2025. Expires June 30th, 2026. Rachel Weinheimer. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Foodie, second by Runge. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. No other business, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So be it.
Second.
Motion by Runge, second by Chapman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. This meeting's closed.